The rain fell like silver threads over the city that night, tracing rivers down the tall windows of Ethan Cole's glass tower. Inside, the billionaire CEO sat in silence, the glow of his phone screen lighting his sharp features. The message from her was still open, just 3 words. "I am pregnant." He stared at it, unmoving, his expression unreadable. Across town, in a small apartment that smelled faintly of rain and hope, Lily sat on the edge of her bed, one hand over her stomach, waiting for a reply that never came. She whispered to herself, "You'll be okay, little one. I promise." Her voice trembled, but her eyes were steady. Back in his penthouse, Ethan placed the phone face down, his jaw tight. He had built empires, silenced competitors, and ruled boardrooms, but her words had shaken something he didn't want to face. "I can't do this," he muttered, convincing himself it was the right choice. He didn't know that his silence would change everything. 2 years later, under the same city lights, he would see a child with eyes too familiar, eyes that mirrored his own, and realize that some decisions never stay buried. That night he walked away, but fate, patient and unforgiving, was already waiting for his return. 2 years later, the same rain returned to the city, soft, cold, and full of memories Ethan wished he could forget. He had everything that people envied: success, wealth, fame. Yet inside there was an emptiness no luxury could fill. Every night he found himself staring out the window, haunted by the thought of what might have been. He told himself she had moved on, that she was fine, that the past was closed. But then one evening, while leaving a charity event, a soft voice caught his attention. "Mr. Cole?" He turned, expecting another reporter, but instead a little boy stood there holding a small drawing in his hand. The child's smile was shy, his clothes worn but clean, his eyes bright like the morning sun. "I made this for you," he said softly. Ethan knelt down, confused. The picture was simple: 2 stick figures holding hands under a rainbow. Written below in uneven letters were the words, "Me and my daddy." Ethan's throat tightened. "Who's your daddy, kid?" he asked, forcing a smile. The boy pointed across the street where a woman stood watching them, her face pale under the streetlight. Time froze. It was Lily, the one he had left behind, the one he swore he'd never see again. His heart began to pound as he realized the truth. The child's eyes, those eyes, were his own reflection. For a moment Ethan couldn't move. The noise of the city faded into silence as his gaze locked on the woman across the street. Lily stood still, holding an umbrella that trembled slightly in her hand, rain streaking her face like tears. She looked different, stronger, colder, but her eyes carried the same quiet sadness he remembered. The little boy tugged at her coat, smiling up at her. "Mama, he liked my picture." Her lips curved into a fragile smile. "That's nice, sweetheart," she whispered, though her eyes never left Ethan's. 2 years vanished in a single heartbeat, replaced by the weight of everything left unsaid. Ethan walked toward them, every step heavy with memories. "Lily?" he said softly, his voice rough, unsure. She didn't answer. Instead, she knelt beside the boy and said, "It's late. We should go home." She turned to leave, but Ethan reached out, his voice breaking. "Is he mine?" The question slipped out before he could stop it. Lily froze, her back still to him. For a long moment she said nothing, then finally whispered, "You gave up that right the night you walked away?" Her words hit him harder than any blow. The boy looked between them, confusion in his eyes. "Mama, who is he?" he asked. Lily took his hand and replied softly, "No one, baby. Just someone from the past." And with that, She walked away, leaving Ethan standing in the rain, haunted by the son he never knew. Ethan stood there long after they disappeared into the night, his heart pounding louder than the rain. He had faced countless boardroom battles, but nothing compared to this silence that followed Lily's words. "You gave up that right." They echoed in his head like a sentence he couldn't escape. The next morning he did what he always did when something bothered him. He searched for control. Within hours, his assistant handed him a file. It was thin, but it told him everything. Lily Taylor. Address: a small art center on the edge of town. Occupation: children's art teacher. Status: single mother. Ethan closed the file slowly, his chest tightening. She had built a life without him, a quiet one, far from his world of glass towers and flashing lights. That evening, he drove to the art center, parking a distance away so she wouldn't see him. Through the window, he saw her laughing with the children, paint streaked on her hands, the little boy at her side drawing a sun. It was the happiest he had ever seen her. A strange ache filled his chest, regret mixed with something fragile, something like hope. When the boy accidentally spilled paint on his shirt, Lily knelt, kissed his forehead, and said, "Mistakes don't matter, love. What matters is what we create after them." Her words pierced Ethan's heart. For the first time he understood. She had moved on from his world, but he had never moved on from hers. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Lily's smile, the boy's curious face, and the life that could have been his if only he had chosen differently. The empire he had built now felt hollow, its walls echoing with silence. The next morning, without a plan, he found himself walking toward the small art center again. This time he stepped inside. The smell of paint and laughter filled the air. Lily looked up from a table, surprise flashing in her eyes, then quickly replaced by calm restraint. "What are you doing here, Ethan?" she asked softly, keeping her distance. He hesitated, his voice lower than usual. "I just wanted to see him, and to see you." She folded her arms, guarding her heart. "You saw enough last night. You made your choice 2 years ago." Ethan took a breath. "I was wrong, Lily. I thought I was protecting myself, but I only destroyed everything that mattered." She shook her head, eyes glistening. "You can't walk back into our lives just because you regret it." The word "our" hit him deeply. "Please," he said quietly. "Let me explain." The little boy peeked from behind her, holding a small toy car. "Mama, is he the man from the rain?" Ethan smiled faintly, kneeling down. "Yes, buddy. And I think I owe you an apology." The child tilted his head. "For what?" Ethan looked up at Lily, his voice trembling. "For not being there when you both needed me the most." Lily's eyes softened for a moment, but pain still lingered behind them. "Apologies do not change the past, Ethan," she said gently. "You walked away before he even opened his eyes. You missed his first steps, his first words." Ethan's throat tightened as he looked at the boy, who now rolled his toy car across the floor, humming softly. "I know," Ethan whispered. "And I'll never forgive myself for that, but please give me a chance to be here now, to earn what I threw away." Lily turned toward the window, rain beginning to fall again, just like the night he left. "It's not that simple," she said quietly. He has lived without you. He doesn't even know who you are. Ethan took a deep breath and said, "Then let me start by being his friend. No promises, no expectations. Just time." Weeks passed. Slowly, carefully, Ethan became part of their world. He helped at the art center, brought paints for the children, and told stories that made the boy laugh. Lily watched from a distance, unsure if she should trust him, yet her heart softened each day. One evening, the boy took Ethan's hand and said, "Can I call you Dad now?" The word froze Ethan in place. Lily looked at him, tears shimmering in her eyes. Ethan knelt, voice trembling. "Only if your mom says it's okay." Lily hesitated, then smiled faintly. He's waited long enough. That night, as the city lights shimmered through the rain again, Ethan realized love had finally found its way home.